Hello and welcome back, everyone, to day 134 of our 9-month Ultimate World Cruise Adventure. Today brings us to Ho Chi Minh City, or also known as Saigon, and we have 3 hours to explore this city.
Can we do it?
We are going to give it a big try. Come and see.
Welcome to Living Face 2.
Hi, I'm Mike.
And I'm Nancy, and we're empty nesters striving to live life to the fullest.
And we're living that full life aboard Royal Caribbean's 9-month Ultimate World Cruise on Serenade of the Seas.
We sure are. Well, friends, today we are in Saigon, and we have 3 goals that we're going to try to get done in 3 hours.
Well, first of all, let's tell you why we have 3 hours. Okay,
Yes.
So as we said, we're in Saigon. We just left Nha Trang. We came up here. It's not very far from those two cities. And we only have from 10 a.m. to 4:30 p.m. Now, if you do your math, you say, well, that's not 3 hours. That's a lot longer. However, it's over 1.5 hours from the port into Saigon. Saigon's is in country. It's not at the port.
Right.
So it takes over 3 hours of just round trip driving to get from the ship and back. It's really almost 3.5 with traffic. You're right. And so that cuts our time down. And what that leaves us with from the time the bus drops us off, the shuttle that we took into town, to the time we have to return, is 3 hours. So a couple of things. One, you'll notice during the video we're calling the town Saigon, or you may hear it called Saigon with kind of an SH sound to it. And the official name of the town is Ho Chi Minh City. But as we found out from all the locals, from everybody we talked to, they all call it Saigon. Okay. It's been Saigon. It's named after the river system and everything that was there. It was always called Saigon, and that's what they call it.
Right.
They kind of laugh about the Ho Chi Minh City name a little bit. And so, in fact, there's even a push to rename it back to its original name, Saigon. And so in respect for that and what the locals call it, that's what we're going to call it, is Saigon during this video. So that if you had questions of why we're calling it that versus Ho Chi Minh City, that's why we're calling it.
We're going to clarify that right up front.
Clarify it right up front. So as we said, we have 3 hours from the time the shuttle dropped us off to the time we go back. And as you said, we had 3 goals to achieve.
We did. So the first was to have a banh mi sandwich. The second was to have a Vietnamese egg cream coffee, and the third was to visit a Vietnamese market.
That's right.
Can we do it?
Okay, we're going to give it a shot. So the shuttle dropped us off. We did a lot of research to prepare for this. We actually had some friends do some research as well, and we wanted to find the best banh mi sandwich in Saigon. Now, that's hard because they have some really good sandwiches, but we think we really did find it. Now, maybe we should tell them what a banh mi sandwich is.
Yeah, well, a banh mi sandwich it's really the bread. It's a nice, crusty bread. It usually has pork of some sort on it. And I'll tell you, for my sandwich in particular, it had both ham and pate. But they make it with other things. They'll make it with beef, or they'll make a vegetarian one as well. But it's the bread that makes it. It's that nice, crisp, crusty bread.
It's like a French baguette. It's like a mini French baguette. And we selected a place called
Charmed Bakery.
Charmed Bakery, that's right.
And it was delicious.
And I've had banh mi sandwiches, back in the United States and even in Vietnamese communities, and they're pretty good. This was incredible. The fact that it is the bread that makes a real good banh mi. And of course you have to have fresh ingredients and things too. But this bakery just made the best French rolls.
It did. And like you said, you did your research. You found one that had excellent Google reviews. It's a tiny little place. I think it only sat about maybe 10 people in it. And there were 4 of us, but thankfully we got a table.
Yeah.
So that was
There
good.
was one table for 4 right when we walked in. Yeah.
And so we each ordered a sandwich, and it was quite large and very filling. And to drink, you had coconut water, so where they take the actual coconut and cut the top off and have that. That's always delicious.
Yeah.
Then at the end of our meal, they gave us kind of a good luck charm bracelet, which was very sweet as well.
Yeah, they were actually just wonderful in there. They did have the menu in English and Vietnamese,
Yes,
so there was no problem there, easy translation. In fact, I found that you could find almost anything in Saigon in Vietnamese and in English. So very easy town to get around in, except the traffic.
Oh my gosh.
This was the thing you liked least.
Was horrific. Absolutely horrific. and we're walking to get to where we wanted to go. The Charm Bakery from where the shuttle bus dropped us off was a good 15-minute walk, and we were hoofing it.
It was almost 30 minutes, actually. Yeah, it was quite a ways.
It was, and we had to cross a lot of really busy streets, and that wasn't fun at all.
Yeah, you have to use the force. As you're crossing and they're coming at you, even though you're crossing on a green light, you have to hold your hand up and say, okay, I'm coming across, and don't...
A local person taught us that, so use the force, Nancy.
Yes, exactly. And the other pro tip here, so as you're going into many of these countries, and we've found this in many countries so far, don't make any sudden movements. So walk consistently, or walk very quickly across the street.
They're going to anticipate your stride and your gait, and they're going to plan their driving moves accordingly.
Right. So as you're being surrounded by these scooters that are shooting around you, don't suddenly speed up, slow down, whatever, because that will cause more of an issue.
Right.
Hold your hand up, let them know you're crossing, and you'll be fine. They're used to people crossing the street, but it's a little nerve-wracking if you're not used to it. And I think that was your biggest complaint, I guess I'd say, or the part you did not like about Saigon the most was the traffic.
It really was. It really was.
Well, we achieved goal number 1, banh mi sandwich, and it was very good.
And our friends actually had an additional goal. One of them wanted a haircut. So we did goal number 2, which was to get the egg cream coffee. Again, you had done research, found the place you wanted to go.
Yep.
And while we were having our egg cream coffee, he went and got a haircut for a grand total of $8.
Yes.
So he was very delighted
including
with
a massage
that.
and everything.
Yeah, he was very happy. But we went to the Tonkin Coffee Cafe, and it was so good. That coffee was kind of ridiculous, and we had an egg cream croissant as well, and that was so yummy.
Well, you had to know the place was going to be good, because as we're walking down the street and we're looking for it, we almost missed it.
Right.
And luckily they had a sandwich board, one of those folding boards out front, and a tiny sign at the top. And there was actually a person there from the Tonkin Coffee establishment, and he was kind of waving people in. And there's this tiny narrow hallway, and you go up 3 levels on this back staircase, and I'm thinking, what is this place
getting into?
What is this place going to look like? And then they opened the door, and it's like equivalent to one of the nicest Starbucks you've ever seen.
And
it's beautiful in there. It was busy.
Plenty of people.
Yeah, and I would agree. The coffee was exceptional. It comes with the egg cream in 1 cup, and then it comes with the coffee in another. You pour one into the other and you drink it. Now, a little bit of history behind this. There was a lot of difficulty at certain times in Vietnam to get dairy products, so they couldn't put milk, which would have been traditional in their coffee or teas. So they came up with the idea of whipping eggs and using the egg yolks and an egg cream in their coffee in place of it, and then this became a tradition. It's one of the reasons we want to try it, because it's very traditional Vietnamese type of beverage, and so it did not disappoint. It was exceptional.
I am actually surprised we had hot coffee, because it was hot outside. It was so hot that day.
I think it was 93 or 94 degrees. The humidity was in the 90s. Actually, the feels like was 108 degrees. So it was sticky and hot, but it was air conditioned. It was air conditioned, and so we relaxed a little. And that is a bit of a pro tip here. In the Southeast Asian countries, in many of these, it is going to be hot when you tour. And you're going to hear us say that as we're going through the next few stops here. You've got to pace yourself, take time, bring
water along.
Drink lots of water, find a little coffee shop or something to sit down and have a beverage and just relax in some air conditioning, but take your time. Commando touring is not the way to do these.
It can be tough.
It is really tough. Yeah. So, goal number 2, egg cream Vietnam coffee.
Check that one
off. So, and then the next that we finished up, we met back up with our friend who got the haircut. He looked really good.
Yeah.
And then we wanted to go to a traditional, or really more of a tourist, I'll say, a touristy Vietnamese market. We just wanted to see it. And now we had very little time. And to get from the coffee to the market was about another 10-minute walk. And when we got to the market, we timed how long it was from the market back to the bus. We had 11 minutes in the market.
And we had two sub goals here in the market. Get my Christmas ornament, get Mike's patch.
Yes.
And we accomplished both.
There was plenty of vendors. Be sure you negotiate.
Yes.
This is something that one of us is not that good at, but There was a
and she shall not be named.
a little generous, but that's okay. You're very loving, and but make sure you negotiate in those markets. And that can be a lot of fun. That it's good natured, and you can work with any of the vendors. I'll give you an example. One of our friends was wanting a football jersey, and they started off at $60 for the jersey, and I think he ended up getting 2 of them for $40. So that's the kind of negotiations that you can do. And so we spent our 11 minutes in the market. We ran through, we just got a little bit of video, got a couple of minimal things that we wanted. And then we had to walk back to where the shuttle was meeting us. And one of the things we wanted to note, as Nancy said earlier, the traffic was incredible. And one of the reasons it is because they said there is a scooter for almost every adult in Vietnam.
Scooters everywhere.
And you can see them walking down the streets or on the sidewalks, or everywhere.
Yes.
And so that's how they get around, and you will find them all over.
And they're driving on the sidewalks too.
Yes, yeah.
Yeah, so even on
everywhere.
the sidewalks you're not safe.
Yeah, you got to be careful because they'll drive right up to park on the sidewalks. And well, we made it back with 5 minutes to spare to the bus, used the restroom, got on for our hour and 35-minute ride back to the port, and we made it back to the ship. So that was our 3 hours in Vietnam. It may not be how everyone would want to spend it, but one of the things that many of the attractions are going to take a lot longer than that. So, but there are great things to see in Vietnam if you go there, if you go to Saigon. So you have everything from parks, you have the Freedom or the Independence Palace, you have the Cathedral of Notre Dame, which happened to have been closed. It's under refurbishment right now, so we couldn't have gone into that. You have the Vietnam War Museum, which is, we had a couple friends that did go do that, and it took most of their time. And that's very sobering, we'll put it that way, and very serious. But that is certainly something that you can see there. They have a Chinatown. They have all kinds of things.
And the cruise will have excursions going to all of these different places. You just have to pick and choose
when you have
the
this
one
little
thing,
time.
Yes, that you want to do when you have such little time.
Yeah. So we wanted to just make sure everyone knew there are a lot of things to do there, but when your time is limited, you have to focus on what you want to see and then go hit that and don't rush it. I think that's one of the important things. The 2 things of the 3, we did not rush. We enjoyed our banh mi. We enjoyed being in the Charm Cafe or Charm Bakery, and we sat and enjoyed that egg cream coffee. We did not rush. And that made us a little rushed at the last one, which honestly we were okay with. Yeah. But you have to pick and choose when you only have a little bit of time in these cities. So that's what we did. But we made it back to the ship okay.
We did. And then in the evening, some friends of ours are Jewish, and it's Passover time.
Tonight,
and so they're having a Passover dinner this evening. They actually invited us. Now, we're Roman Catholic, but it was very interesting to see how other religions celebrate and worship, and very fascinating.
And I enjoyed it thoroughly. The ship hosted the Passover dinner for them, so they made all the food.
They brought a rabbi on board.
Yep, and they had him, and they kind of did this traditional ceremony. I enjoyed it a lot. I really did, and I really thank our friends for including us in that and getting that experience.
Yeah, I had never done that before.
Yeah. I think this is another example where on this world cruise, we have people from every religion, every race, every, country, and in general, we all get along, and we live and let live, and we help each other celebrate. And it's and this sounds a little cheesy, I guess, but if the whole world could live like we're living on this cruise ship, it probably would be a better world.
That's right.
I enjoyed that a lot as well. I did. Then we had a sea day.
We did. So I did some more origami.
You did. You're really into the origami thing. Yep.
I showed it to you in the last video.
Yep. And we would also like to highlight one of the things we do is we get up in the morning. This is all included in the deluxe beverage package that we have. And so we stop down and we get a coffee at a place called Latitudes. It's kind of like a Starbucks. In fact, it's Starbucks coffee. And they have 3 of the best crew members, and we just love them and want to say, hello to Sun and to Patricia and to Marcus. And they are a ray of sunshine every morning and get us our coffee.
They make my morning.
They do. They're wonderful crew members. So hi everybody. We want to thank you very much for that. And but then after that?
Well, after that was a quiet sea day for us,
it
really.
was.
We're getting ready to go to Singapore next.
Oh, I'm really looking forward to Singapore. But unfortunately, like we said, this is another port where we only have a couple hours. So you're going to see our race through Singapore as we go and hit the best food, street food in Singapore.
Singapore has to offer.
And they have some amazing street food.
Well,
So
going back to Saigon, would you go back?
I would like to. I think that, like we mentioned, there's so many things that we just didn't even get a chance to see. Saigon is also very much a night town.
That's
and we
true.
left at 3:00 in the afternoon. There's night markets that don't even open up till 4:00 in the evening. There's a whole streets of night street food to go to and see. So there's a whole cultural side of Saigon that we did not get to experience that I would love to be able to go back and get into a little bit more.
I understand that. I don't care to go back.
Yeah.
I didn't like the hustle bustle. I didn't
so
like
noisy.
the traffic. It was constant noise that just never stopped. The horns just kept honking, and now I found it a little unnerving, and so it would not be a place I would choose to go back.
And that's okay,
Yeah.
So so you may someday see the Battle of Saigon. Do we do we go back or not? So, but no, and that this is where one of us will have one perspective and another. So
that's
but
right.
well, thank you everyone for tuning in. We hope you enjoyed this 3-hour whirlwind tour of Saigon. We'd love to hear a comment of what you would do in Saigon.
Yes.
Would you do the same 3 things that we did, or what else would you like to see if you only had 3 hours in Saigon? So,
all right, friends, have a great day. Take care.
bye
Bye.
now.